This is all about Flower Queen, which is the latest from hot off the press. And this is one of the cards that I'm going to be sharing with you. So please come play with us. Okay, just to give you an overall view of what Flower Queen has, we're going to have the 12 by 12 pattern cardstock, as you can see, double-sided, of course. And then to coordinate with that, the Flower Queen 12 by 12 solid cardstock, 12 colors, 12 sheets. Works really nicely. Then we have the 6 by 6 Flower Queen, and in that you're going to get 4 sheets of each of the 6 by 6. You can kind of see them right there. Plus, you're going to get 112 cutouts. By the way, in this one, you're going to get 56 cutouts, so you've got lots of focals to put on your projects. Then we have the Flower Queen die cuts. There are 31 different ones here, and they're just going to pop right out. By the way, this is hot off the press, so of course you're going to have ideas right on the packaging. Then we also have Flower Queen chipboard. There's 23 pieces. Again, there's an idea. And Flower Queen cutting dies, 13 cutting dies right here, and you're going to get a taste of what this can do. But let's begin with a simple card, and that will start our process. And Teresa's done this, and I think this is probably just the easiest way to make a card, and I think it's a great way to begin this webisode. And so she has our 5 by 6.5 inch card. So 5 inches this way, 6.5 inches that way. Then, so she cut this piece, and this is off of this paper. It is on the back side of that front sheet. Don't you just love all the colors? I think they're just fun. So you can see that this was started right here, and that became the background for her card. Now, before she attached it to her card, she wrapped this crepe ribbon, and it comes from the red ribbon set. So she wrapped it, not all the way, but just to tuck the ends underneath and glue them in place. Then she glued it onto her 5 by 6.5 inch card. Now, the happy birthday, that is part of the cutout. So let me show you that. And here it is. So here's part of those 50-some cutouts. You can see it right there. We have already matted them for you. So if that color works, that's great. Just saves you some time and energy. If the color doesn't work, just trim it off and remat it. And that will work nicely. So that has been foam taped in place. And you can see it was kind of tucked under that ribbon. Then she went into our beautiful butterflies, Dazzles, and that package has 3 sheets, as you can see. And you can see that the pink butterflies are what she has put on the front of this card. Those pearls come from Hunky Dory. This is the monochromatic set. So you can see she's used the lighter ones right here, the darker ones into the butterflies. So that takes care of the front of the card. Now on the inside, let me show you what she used there. And this is another of the cutouts on the both the 12 by 12 and the 6 by 6. So this is the image, and she's turned it this way, and you can see it's smaller than the card. And then she matted it on this solid, so that she used that pink and just gave it, about 1/8 of an inch matte. Turned it on its side. And then to make today matter, that is part of the cutouts. So let me bring that back. There it is, right there. And you can see the blessings to you has been foam taped. You can see it's kind of lifted. And that is from our die cuts. So it's right there. Again, they're just going to pop right out. You can kind of see that's happening over here. And as I said, she just foam taped that. So more butterflies, more dazzles, more pearls going on, and just that completes this card. And it's just a really very easy to make, very quick, very pretty card. So that's nice. Okay, now the card that I showed you in the beginning, that's what we're going to look at next, and this is it. And isn't that pretty? I love the play of dark colors and light colors in this collection, and I know it's early in the year, but it's already one of my favorites. And Teresa has used the 6 by 6 papers, and here is that sheet. But this time she turned it this way, and she cut it going from this side. So you can see it's going right just like that. She matted it on the yellow, and that just allows the colors to pop, as you can see, and she glued that to her 5 by 6.5 inch card. Okay, now the wreath. The wreath is from a different cutting die, and this is the garden wreath, and it's certainly one of our favorites. Now, she did die cut the wreath 2 times, and she used the tan paper that's part of the collection of the Flower Queen. And then she glued them together, just stacked them one on top of the other. And then she used 2 colors of the Prism ink pads. Let me just show them to you here. She used the cocoa brown. You can see that on the edges. And then the khaki. Now the khaki she used on the flowers, and the flowers all came from the Flower Queen cutting die. And you can see that they're just going right around and just doing a really nice job. So she's used the individual flowers this time, and you can see how they're just kind of tucked into all that foliage. So the foliage has been edged with the khaki Prism ink pad, and as you know how to do that, you're just both for the wreath and for the greenery, you're going to use your blender brush. You're going to place these onto, I like to use it on your craft mat, and then dip your brush into the ink pad and start from the outside of the mat and bring it in both to the center and on the outside, and you're going to get that edging, which just does a really nice job. Now, the other things that are going on here are the butterflies, and they are part of the Flower Queen, and they were die cut out of our gold cardstock, and you get, I believe, 3 sheets with that, and it just is going to give you that beautiful shine, as you can see. Very pretty. And then to accent those flowers, Teresa has used the gold pearl jewel dazzles, and you can see that they just do a nice job of giving you a gold, but it's not as shiny as the metallic gold, so that works nicely. The ribbon, well, the ribbon is out of our yellow ribbon pack. That just makes it easy. Now the dazzles are part of a package, and this is the We're Together Pastel and Pearl. And what you get in each of the colors are 2 sheets. So you can see that Teresa has used the Thinking of You right down there. I pulled the backing off just so that you could really see the words. They go a long way, and then they also go, they're stacked, so the short way. So you get all of them in both ways, so vertically and horizontally. And there are 20 sheets in here. This is the We're Together Pearl and Pastel. So you can see how that's doing a nice job. And that takes care of our card front. Now for the inside, okay, remember I said you get 4 of those sheets? Well, she did use the one on the card front, but she used another of the sheets on the inside. So remember, this was turned this way to be on the front. Well, this time she turned it the same way, and she just used that same section, and she did mat it on the gold. The Missing Our Time Together is part of that same We're Together pack. You can see more butterflies. And I like this little branch just going right here that she has die cut and inked with more of the flowers. So just really nice. And I think it's nice to remember too that the inside doesn't have to be completely filled. That gives you some room to write your message. So that just did a really nice job. Now for our next card, there are several steps to this. So let me pull everything and I'll be right back. Okay, here is our next card, and there's several things going on, but first we're going to do the construction of this card. So let me open it for you and look at that. Isn't that nice? Now notice that the inside flap has also got paper on it, and this one is got 3 panels, so both of them have 3 panels. This has a fun little flap that's going on here, and I'll show you how to do that. So, okay, here are the steps. Now, you're going to start with, guess what, a 5 by 6.5 inch card, okay? Now, ignore that extra sticky tape, if you will, okay? So pretend that's not there. So on the card front, You're going to measure over 2.5 inches, draw a line, and then cut that line, okay? Then go in 1/2 inch and score that, okay? So then you will have a piece that looks like this. You will have that score line, then measure down 1.25 inches and up 1.25 inches. Make a mark and then cut from this area, and you want to cut this section away. You want to do it at the top and at the bottom. That's going to give you this flap, and that flap is what is going to hold this piece. I'm sure you can't, well, there you go. Maybe you can see it on the inside. There's that flap. Okay, so that's an important little piece. Now, you're going to put the 1/4 inch extra sticky tape right along that flap. Okay, so that's step 1. Got it? Now, step 2 is going to be a second piece. And that second piece measures 8 inches by 5 inches. Then going from the left, as we usually do, going to measure in 4 inches and score it, measure in 6 inches and score it. And then you're going to do a mountain fold and a valley fold, just like that. Now, what I think is clever, or one of the many things I think is clever, is that this piece was cut out of this. So we used this piece earlier, but if you turn it around, you've got this piece, okay? So that's what happens right here. And then this is edged with the warm honey ink with the blender brush. Okay, so just right along the edge, as we've talked about before. Then we're going to cover this card. And this card is going to get covered with this piece. Now, this is the artwork, but Teresa has used this area. So you can see on the front of the card, let me bring that back in, where she did a piece to go here and a same size to go on the inside, and then another piece to go right here. So all of that is coming from this area. So you just cut 1, 2, 3 pieces and glue them to the card, just like so. Okay, you're not doing anything with that flap yet because we want to leave that uncovered. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to take this piece that you have folded and you've got inked, and the neat way to put this together is to remove the liner and then simply place this centered on your card front, just like that. And that's going to hold it. Then, going to turn this over, put extra sticky tape on each side of this last flap, remove the liner, let's see, and then simply position it down. Oops, make sure. See, that first one is going to hold it in place, okay? So that's all you have to do. And it's going to do it very nicely and hold it perfectly in place. But now let's get to the other parts of this card. So that's how you create it. I want you to get in closer. So Jeanette, can you do that? I want you to get a really good look at all of those die cuts. Can you see how nicely the debossing artwork has been done to give those lines and definition to those flowers and leaves? It's just really nice. Now, you'll see that those are not solid colors. They're kind of a mottled color. Okay, let's back up and let me show you about those. So there's really 3 different groups. There's the green, the peach, and the pink. And what Teresa did is she used the inks, you can imagine that, and let me show you. So for the pinks, she used orchid and lipstick and lovely lilac, those 3, and she smashed them, that's the technical term, onto, and I'll demonstrate this in just a second, but I kind of want to give you the process. So she smashed them onto the craft mat. She spritzed some water. Then she used, in her case, she used the blunt end of a paintbrush. You can use anything, and kind of mix the inks together, and then just dabbed a 5x8 piece of white cardstock. Now, nice thing about this collection is that there is white cardstock in it. It's on the back side of the black cardstock. So you can use a separate piece or you can use this. I questioned why Teresa wanted a 5x8 because, you know, you're really just doing a few pieces. But as I did it, I learned why she did that. And it's because you want to choose what area you want to use. So that's going to do very nicely. So you can see that you've got light areas, you've got darker areas, so you get to make that choice. So you're simply going to take the ones that are going to be pink and die cut them out of this sheet. Okay, so that 5x8 works. Okay, so that happened with the pink. Now, let me show you with the pink. Well, let's see. Let me just actually do one. Okay, so I'm going to do the green. So here's my craft mat, which is so very useful. And we're going to take 4 colors this time. Most of the time she's doing 3, but this time it's 4. So she has got the warm honey, khaki, a pear green, and a holly green. Now the holly green is the darkest, so I probably want to be a little sparing with that. So smooshing, that's the term. And I'll bring some khaki, and they're going to be separated. Now the khaki is pretty dark. Here is the pear. It's light like the honey is, and the holly green. Now that's dark too. So plus if you've got new ink pads, they're going to be deeper. So I'm going to spritz it, and I want to put a nice amount of water. Then I'm doing this. And the reason that you want to do this, well, actually, I'll show you why in just a second. You don't want to get these squares, okay? Now, set that. I'm bringing in my piece of cardstock, and I'm going to smoosh it, okay, just like so. You see what's happening? Okay, I'm going to get lots of color, and I'm going to keep smooshing and smashing and spritzing it, just like so. Okay. And you kind of can't control it, which could be bothersome, but it's really better in the long run. And I've got green over here, and let's see what's happening. Okay, so I may want to go back and do some more green, but you can see that I've got lots of different colors of green in here. And you will want to let these papers dry, okay, before you go to use them. Okay, you may want to wash your fingers too. Okay, I'm going to slip that back. So remember, there was a third one, and the third one is the warm honey, and it is peachy and tiger orange, and this is going to make the peach ones. And I mentioned about the squares. On this one, you can really see the squares. Now that may not be a problem, but I think it's better to just not get the squares on there, so really do the smooshing, okay? Technical term, you may want to write that down. Okay, so that's what Teresa did on this card. Let me find the card. And then she die cut out the pieces and layered them. So you've got the green on the bottom, and I love how she did this kind of trellis simply by placing multiple pieces on top of each other, and I think that's really pretty. So this this one is going to get die cut out of the pink group, but also out of the green, and then just trim it off and glue it on top. Okay, so that's how you're going to do all of them. And again, you're going to get such a pretty shades of color. Now you can do them in solid cardstock because you certainly have it in the collection, but this is another way, and I think it's really fun to be able to see that happening. Okay, now you see the butterflies. You know that they're part of that cutting die. And this is the Lilac Shimmer Mary cardstock. Love the shiny, how that gets. And the Happy Birthday is part of the die cuts. So you can see it's right there. That is foam taped in place. The butterflies are attached with the extra sticky tape just right in the center, so that works nicely. Now, on the inside, we have another. This is part of the die cuts. And live life and forget your age. Good message at any point. And then you can see that we've got more of the flowers here, another butterfly, another flower, just to finish that off. It's just a really fun, easy structure of card, but there's just so much you can do. So that is our third card. Okay, got one more, and this is called an impossible card. So if this is new for you, it's really kind of fun. So you can see, and this stands up, and it will turn around like so. So an impossible card. Now, what Teresa did is she began with the white cardstock and simply used our oval cutting die, clever woman, to cut out the oval. She used the largest one and she used the scallop. Okay, then Teresa has provided us with this drawing, and it is a download. It's going to be down below. You'll just click on this card, and then you will see the download. It'll be on the right-hand side of the screen with the directions, and you'll just click on it. You can print it out. So what she'll have us do is to draw this line, and this line, and this broken line. Now the broken lines are score lines. The solid lines are cut lines, and that's exactly what she's done here. Right there, you see the cut, the two cuts, and the score line. Now, what the directions tell us is to turn this like so, and then to push this back, push the left side back, and that becomes our base. And you see how that's standing up? And that's exactly what is going on right here. So, now the other thing that Teresa's given us in here are, these are the patterns to cut the papers. Nice piece of business that she's given us. So she's used the 6x6 Flower Queen, and she has used this sheet to cover the two sides. And then she used this sheet, let's see, yes. Actually, she used, okay, so this pattern is going to go on both sides. Then on the back side of it, you've got the one that goes here, and that's this one, and that's going to go on the center piece, okay? Then for the back side, let me flip this over. She used, stay there, she used this paper and just glued it. So again, you've got the paper patterns on that download. Okay, I'm going to turn this back around. Then Teresa used the die cuts, and she took this big piece, trimmed it in half, and you can see that she uses it to span the gap right here, and then the other half on the back side. Very clever woman. Then your friendship is a special gift. Now, what I like is that sometimes when you're looking at this, you might think, well, I've got to have my message just fill only this space. But Teresa shows us that you can really have it extend upward. You can make it bigger. So she's used this one right here, and that's going to work nicely just right there. She used the ribbons that she used are the magenta and dark pink to go into the tag, as you can see. Now, she has also used our chipboard, and look at all of those wonderful pieces. And to color them, she used all of these tri-blend markers. Now, the benefit of the tri-blend marker is that you're going to get 3 shades in every single pen, and I love that. And you can see exactly why that works so well. And we'll get in close to look at the chipboard. So you can see that she's really decorated this piece. So you've got the dragonfly, darker in the center, lighter on the wings. Same thing is true on the flowers. Darker in the center, lighter on the tips. And you can see all the colors that she's used are played out in the papers. And you can see right down here. Then on the back side, she just has this big spray, which is right here. And when you're doing this coloring, you can just leave the pieces in the backing. You can take them out if you want to color them, or you can leave them in, color them, and then pop them out. There's another dragonfly, another flower. The Hope This Brightens Your Day, that is part of the cutouts in the 6x6 paper pack. So you can see it right there. So this Impossible card is really something that you can enjoy on all sides, and it's just colorful and bright and happy and very, very nice. So again, the chipboard's going to give you a lot of opportunity. Those tri-blend markers are really great to use and very economical. Okay, that's some of the collections that we have with our Flower Queen. I hope you like this. I think it's just a very great way to start the year. And Flower Queen, let me get some space here, the 12x12 pattern cardstock, the Flower Queen solid cardstock, the die cuts, the 6x6, of course, and the chipboard. Whoops, let me do the chipboard over here, and the cutting dies. So you can see how everything works beautifully together. And it's all available right now. Speaking of available right now, there are also subscriptions. So every month we do a brand new collection. If you would like to get them before we do the webisode, before we go through new ideas, don't forget, there are ideas on the packaging, so we never leave you hanging. But you can subscribe. And if you just want all of the paper goodies, we'll take the cutting die out. We call that I Want It All subscription. And as I said, it's going to have all of those. You will get it before the webisode, and you're getting 20% off. Now, if you really want the cutting die, we call that I Really Want It All. Same 20% off. And you'll get all of the goodies that are here. So you can click on those, and they are on the right side of your screen, along with a money saver if you want the entire package. So that's great. As I said, Teresa has the cards. They're down below. Just click on them. You'll see the instructions on the right-hand side of your screen. We try to make everything as complete as we possibly can, and that's what we like to do for you. Speaking of which, if you are watching us on YouTube, we hope that you will like us. We hope that you will subscribe, and please give me a comment. What do you think about Flower Queen? I'd love to hear what you have to say. Then head on over to paperwishes.com. Take advantage of the money saver. Sign up for the subscription if you'd like. Also, check out the instructions and the materials. They're down below, and those can be yours. So everything is here and available right now. And I want to thank Teresa for doing, as always, a wonderfully creative job. I want to thank you especially for joining us and for being part of our Paper Wishes family. We'll see you next time.